Right.
Go.
Hello.
Hi.
No, have you seen... Do you remember Alfie Days?
No, yes.
He goes, "What's up, guys?"
We should do that.
Ready? Steady.
What's up, guys?
No, ready? 3, 2, 1. What's up, guys?
Maybe we should have it playing.
We should be getting in the vibe. This is the problem. High vibing, baby.
Hello everyone! Hello! So this is our first episode of our new podcast, Chapters. We are mother and daughter. I'm Sharon. Decided that we wanted to create a podcast. Olivia and I, we just absolutely love all things self-development and helping others along with ourselves to achieve our fullest potential.
Do you know what's funny about when we did that is I edited that to shit. Like every last like any noise that was gone. Now I'm like, stick it on.
I'm surprised you had anything left.
Same, but we did make a lot of mistakes in like I think we stopped and started. Like I remember the first few clips I used to have about 100 different files of things, whereas now I just put it on as it is because the more natural the better.
Yeah, I agree.
This sounds more, just normal.
Yeah, just us.
Unless other people disagree, but I like listening to normal ones that just don't sound like they've been edited much.
Yeah. So, how's everybody doing?
Welcome to probably episode 40 now. I think this is our 40th episode. If not, it will be soon. But yeah, can you believe we're doing this our 40th episode? We've changed locations today because the car just was not cutting it. The light was just not doing very well. So we are in my bedroom.
And then we had people arriving home and putting the hazards on, and it
was a bit too crazy. So yeah, I'm not loving this setup right now because I don't normally live here all the time, so it's not how I want it to be, but we're just going with the flow.
So what are we talking about today?
So today we are talking about, well, I think our main topic is talking about fear and like holding yourself back because you're fearful of doing things, which is something I have struggled with so much, and I think everyone struggles with it to a degree, and we hold ourselves back, whether that be consciously or unconsciously. And today we just wanted to discuss our experiences with that, and maybe share some tips on how we move away from the fear and move forward, because that is the key. We want to be progressing in life, and facing our fears is a way to do that. Our fears are usually a sign of what we need to work on and how we move forward. So that is what our topic of conversation is today.
Exciting stuff.
Very exciting. I was feeling very fearful about life. Well, it wasn't necessarily just fear, it was just frustration. A lot of frustration of being like, I know I want to do so much, I want to really succeed in life, and where do I go from here? Like, how do I get from where I am now to where I want to be? There's so much I want to do. How do I do that? And I rang you very emotional, crying, like, oh, I'm just so stuck. And you're like, Olivia, get your ass into gear. So I think that was a conversation that really helped me.
Well, it really, I could tell that you were just waiting. You were frustrated because you were waiting for life. You've got all these things out there that you'd like to manifest, and you were just so frustrated. It was like you were sat on a shelf waiting to be picked.
Yeah, I was talking about this a lot this week as well, is the waiting room of life. Like when you're in this space of I'll be happy when, or does anyone feel that feeling when you're living your life day to day, but it's like, I'm not living it for now. I am not at the point of my story that is important. This is just me working towards that point in the story. Like I live that all the time unconsciously. Like I just feel like I'm in a state of, oh, this is just for now. This is just for the meantime. But my story starts when I've got X, Y, and Z, and it's like reminding myself, no, it doesn't work like that. Like, this is my story. This is part of it. I'm never going to be fully satisfied because I'm always going to want more. And it's just learning to really feel that, like, how can I appreciate now whilst still wanting more? That's completely normal and allowed, but how do I balance the two, like healthily, really? Because sometimes it can be so frustrating when you want so much and you see such big things that you want to do in your life, and I know if I didn't get these things, then I will feel like I've not achieved in my life, because I've got so much ambition, but it's like, where do I even start?
Yeah, and what I could hear in you was the fear was really holding you back. Fear of rejection, fear of what people would think, and it just frustrated the hell out of me. You actually used the word about being validated as well. You felt like to be able to move forward, you were looking for that from somewhere, and I then came in and verbally kicked your butt and said, you will never ever get validated from outside of yourself. It's you. And I was hearing this myself as I was saying it. You learn so much when you're trying to help somebody else, and you think, God, I should be listening to this.
Too,
yeah. And I've had experience of things like that in my life where I've been waiting for being approved of or whatever, and that's probably where I've learned that from, is that nobody else, you will never get what you need if you're looking for approval from somebody else, validation, all those things that we do tend to look for in someone else. You will never get it when you're self-seeking and you're going after that, until you learn the lesson that it has to come from you. And so I verbally kicked Olivia's backside and said to her, stop waiting. What are you waiting for? Live your life. You've got excitements now, you've got direction, you've got things you want to do, but what's holding you back? You really need to look at that. And for anyone listening to this now, who's in that position, really think about that. What is it that you could be doing? It could be the smallest of things. It could be so small that you could start small if you're so scared, but you really need to say to yourself, why am I sat on this shelf waiting for life to happen to me? Why am I waiting? I need to be my future self now.
Definitely. And that's what I was doing, because in one part of my life I'm so passionate about acting, and that's one thing that I really, really want to do, and it's ticking away quite nicely at the moment. Like, I'm in a good position, but alongside that I've got a lot of aspiration to do things with spiritual development, and things that I do with the podcast and stuff. And for so long I've been scared to share my voice in some way, and through the fear it's held me back knowing how I'm going to do that as well, because every option I get I'm like, no, I don't want to do that because so and so will think this, or I'll have this experience with that. And so I've not done it for so long. And I remember even when we were away in Sedona, when we went away in September, I was feeling like, I know, I just have this massive feeling I want to do something. I want to help people. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to share what I've learned through my life and share that with people. But knowing how to do that was always so difficult, because I kept holding myself back. And then for a while I've thought about maybe posting on TikTok and things like that. But again, that just all seems quite scary and very... for me anyway, it feels like I'm constantly looking for that validation of like, oh, my video only got a certain amount of views, like it's not done very well, so no one actually cares what I've got to say. And that can be so hard to deal with, because like you base all your values on that, whether it be posting on Instagram as well. You base all your, whether you're liked by someone from that. And so I just really had to start thinking to myself, like, am I really going to let either what other people think of me or what TikTok, views are saying to me to get my, like, let people hear? Because one thing that I have heard is, like, it takes one person to learn something, whether that not even be something that I'm saying, or like whether there's something they see. You don't know what message someone might get from something. And what I try and remember, and what Mama always tries to remind me, is that like it's not our responsibility to do that. And I know Bashar said, funnily enough, the one time that we've seen him, a girl asked the same question, and he was saying, like, was it that time, or was that a recording?
No, it was that time. It was the only time we've ever seen Bashar live, and we had to go all the way to America to actually hear this for Olivia. And we were sat in the audience, and this young girl went down to the front, and it was like she took Olivia's questions down there, and I was just like, this is so synchronistic that this girl is asking the very questions that Olivia struggles with. And it was about needing to know that, you know, what if I don't get much response, how do I know I'm meant to carry on doing it? And he literally said to her, it doesn't matter, you do it anyway. And I was looking at Liv going, that's you down there. And it was so good. But you do get this is an example of, you get from the universe exactly what you need when you need it.
Yeah.
So it was magical.
He also said that something that I needed to hear and still need to hear a lot is like, it's selfish to hold back your message, because again, you're giving, you don't know what someone else is going to take from that. And I can't control that. All I can do is put my best intentions out there, and someone's going to learn or take away from my video. And that doesn't apply to just giving information online. It can apply to like art form. Like, you don't know what someone's going to get from a film you've made, a music you made. So many people will listen to a song and go, that changed my life. I really, like, that made me feel a certain way. And so many different forms of so many forms of like giving you can't, like, any form of, what's the word?
I can't think what you're trying to say.
Any form of expression,
yeah,
in any way. It doesn't have to just be artistic. It can be anything. Any form of that can be a lesson, can be a way that is going to help people. And you don't have to have the intention completely of helping someone, but you don't know, it probably will in some way. You just got to live true to your excitement and what makes you feel good from releasing and things like that, and stop caring about what other people think, which is really hard to do when we do live in a world where that is very normal to care. And yeah, I've learned a lot from that, and I think now I'm trying to implement that into my life, which is scary, and it is still it's not easy to just completely go, yeah, no, I've forgot about that, when you're putting yourself so openly either online or expressing yourself so openly to anyone. It can be nerve-wracking, because you think, am I the right person to do this? Sometimes you do think, like, what makes me that person, and like compared to someone else. But another thing I've learned is you don't know who needs to hear your voice in the way that you say it and how you say it. And even as I'm saying this, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Like, you don't know the reason. And I just keep trying to hear what Bashar said, and like, don't be selfish, and don't let you be held back because of your own fears. Like, it's not about you, it's about the person that's receiving the message. So yeah.
And also, if you don't follow what you really want to do and you let fear hold you back, it will come back to bite you later. So as life goes on, you'll always feel frustrated. We don't get to take an easier path. We might feel like we do now, but as life develops, you will feel frustrated, and you'll always feel like there's something missing. I actually said to Olivia a few weeks ago, we get to choose our own pain, really, and we can go through the pain barrier now of facing fears and thinking, well, the universe will provide for me exactly what I need, and if I've got this desire to do it, no matter how worrying or fearful I get, the universe will provide for me. And I need to have trust and go down that route. If you don't take that route, however uncomfortable it may be, you're going to get pain later, so you're not going to get away with it. So it's really important to listen to what you want to do, follow your excitement, be in the moment. Also, another thing we were talking about yesterday is when you do this sort of work, say you're really excited about writing a book and you want it to be successful, you start projecting forward and think, how long will it take, and how many people will buy it, and will I get to number one? And all those thoughts in the future can stump you and stop you moving forward, because you might start putting doubt there. And we've done that before with certain things where you think, oh, you know, we're not getting enough people looking at something, or we'll leave it for now. And actually, I've really realized recently, the power is in the moment now. Forget about, you know, another thought you had was, if I do all this work on a certain subject now, will that be what I want to do in a week or 3 weeks or 3 months? It doesn't matter, because if you're being encouraged to do it in the moment, the power is right now. And even if that worked 3 weeks down the line, you didn't use it, something will have come of it. So I think I know what I'm remembering back. You said something to me, you felt like you were running out of time at 24. You thought, oh my God.
I think I said it on the podcast as well, didn't I?
Yeah, something about, yeah, well, I just feel there's so much to do, and I've had those feelings, and I had those feelings back in 2017 that I wouldn't have enough time to listen to this podcaster that I was really enjoying listening to, and the fear of not having enough time to listen to her stopped me listening to her. And if I'd have carried on, I'd have listened to so many things. So it's silly how we do that, isn't it? Like, stop ourselves.
Yeah, I noticed myself doing that, and I noticed how sometimes I'll be in so much fear that I will avoid doing stuff, and then I'll go on social media and I'll avoid it even more. And I do that quite often, and I want to experience life and do all these things, and I worry that I know it's silly to worry about this sort of stuff, but I also know everyone does it as well. And I think what I feel like is, you look at other people that feel like they've got their lives together, like and you think, at my age, I don't know, when you see people that even I know or don't know, and they're my age or younger, and they've experienced, like they've had like they've done loads of things, whether that be like reached a point in their career that to me seems like my end goal kind of thing. And I just always think like, oh God, like, how am I going to achieve all these things that I want to do in my life? And I know I'm only 24, and other people that are older will look at this and be like, you've got loads of time. And I know I have, in one mind, but there's another way that I'm like, why has it not happened yet? Like, hurry up. And it's really hard to balance the frustration whilst also enjoying life, and just being like, if I don't get this and this done today, like, I look at some of my friends and they're so good at just enjoying the moment. Well, from my observation, like, they'll go out and do things and they'll experience it for just what it is, and I'm like, I should be at home, like, doing things. Like, I'm so bad for feeling like, why have I not done this yet? Why have I not done this yet? And I know I'm my own worst enemy, because all the things I learn about is live in the moment, or you don't have to be busy all the time. But in my mind, I'm not being quick enough, or I'm not doing enough. So
you do find it very hard to relax, don't you? Like, when we're together, you'll often be like, right, come on, because I want to get this done today, and oh, we haven't done this yet, and it's like there's always this ticking clock,
ticking time bomb. It's weird. I wonder how I get rid of that.
I don't think you can ever get rid of an emotion. I think you have to transform it, from my understanding, is you look at all the benefits it brings you, and you look at how it protects you. So it serves its purpose, because it makes you're never late for work. You've got many attributes because of that. You get your work done, things like that. It does benefit you, but then it's this stress that it causes you. And from what I have learned about different characteristics, it's not about getting rid of them, it's about standing in the power of them and looking at how they empower you, and being aware of how they can be not so helpful, and trying to transform that, and being aware. It's all about consciousness.
Yeah. So even like tonight, I'm meant to be going back to London, I'm like, I need to go, I need to sort this out. But then I'm like, in another breath, like, but why? What am I going back for? Like,
you need to be careful, because as you get older, if you don't work on that, that's the sorts of things that brings illness. And your body is sick and tired. It will get sick and tired of this constant stress. But the cells in your body, as they recreate, they carry the same memory of that stress. So
I want to be someone who
you'll probably have to do.
Yeah, I want to be someone that just enjoys doing something. Like, one thing, like this weekend I came home, and you and Dan are always like, why are you so busy? Why do you make the things at the weekend and things? But I suppose there's part of me that is genuinely busy, because I have a lot of things I want to do, in terms of, I want to see friends that I've not seen for a while, or...
Me and Dan say she just fits us in, we're like slotted in between.
No, but there's a part of me that would happily spend a whole weekend at home. But even when I am off, like today, I've been off, but I can't just sit there and watch TV. Like, I have to do that. Do you not experience that?
Yeah, I struggle myself with work and things. I promised myself 2 weeks ago that I knew to achieve the goals I wanted to achieve, I needed to come home at 5 o'clock at night. And I promised myself, say it was a Tuesday night, and I said, right, this week I'm going to do that. The next night I was there till 7:30, 8, again the next night, and again, and I still haven't achieved that yet. And that's a week and a half ago. And it's because once I get into work, I'm so into getting things done. I want to go tick, 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 done that. I don't want to go home because I get addicted to it.
It is really hard when you get stuck into work in that way, though.
Yeah.
You just get so involved.
And also coming home, it's like two different energies. When I'm in work, I'm in one energy. And then when I'm at home, I'm in another. And when I'm at home, I don't want to go to work because I'm enjoying this energy here and being in this flow. But then when I go to work, I'll say, oh, I'll just go for 2 hours. But then when I'm there, I'm in that flow. And then I find it hard to say, oh, I'll just go back to that one because I forget.
That's exactly what it's like with me going back home to London. When I'm there, I love living there with my friends and I love the experience of being there. But when I'm here, I'm like, oh, it's just so nice having the home comforts of being at home in my own bed and all those things. And it's really hard to remember what it feels like when I'm actually at home in London.
Yeah. But it's a challenge, isn't it? But I do believe it's just about being conscious of yourself, seeing what's going on, and this fear thing, pushing through that.
I think there is a lot of the fear of being, it's not going to happen. It's not me. I'm not trusting that it is going to happen regardless. I'm always thinking that the action is going to get me there.
You are very action focused.
And when I'm self-reflective, I remember it's not the action. And I even listen to my own advice that I've probably said a million times on the podcast. Like, I'm so good at giving the advice, but I'm not very good at taking it or like even implementing it into my own life. So as I even say these things, I learn them too. It's finding that balance of being able to take a step back and look at things and yeah, I need to not be so focused on the action.
Joe Dispenza the other day was talking about, I was listening to one of his podcasts, and he was talking about meditation is becoming familiar. And I've never heard that before, have you?
Maybe I have, but I don't recognise.
And when you think about all these challenges we have with our emotions and not being in one flow and being in another, when you meditate, you sit back, and if you think about it, you take stock of where you are right now. You stop being in office flow or home flow or it's not going to work or we're not going to have enough time and and you actually just sit and become conscious, hopefully.
Yeah.
If you don't go to sleep. And
Mum's very bad at going to sleep when she meditates.
Yeah, but I am starting to understand what he means by becoming familiar, because is that
as well, it's giving you time to, like you said, take a step back from your day-to-day life and like be able to think of things in a different perspective.
Yeah,
because when you're
so sucked in, don't we?
Yeah, because when you're doing one thing to the next, you're not looking at your life and being like, right, that's like, you're not taking it in, you're just doing it because it's just automatic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I need to do things more to kind of knock me out of my robotic autopilot, and really, I do think journaling is good for that, and probably I need to do more meditation in the morning, really just aligning myself, reminding myself I don't need to be fearful.
So you spent a lot of time this last week on the shelf.
No, this actually, from Thursday I've been pretty...
No, I know.
I've been off the shelf.
So I was thinking, what would be our biggest takeaway that we would say from your week of realising that you were sat on the shelf and you were waiting to be picked by somebody else or something else that wasn't going to happen because the universe, I believe, wants you to pick yourself. So what would be your biggest gift to everybody, takeaway for this episode?
I think my biggest gift, my biggest advice would be just don't make what you want to do. Sometimes there is things that are calling you. For me, it was just start posting on TikTok or whatever that feels like to you. If there's something that is calling you, take a step towards that piece, that direction, because what I found is when I took that step, something else came, and what I thought would just be one thing now is completely different, and it's like it's opened me up to a whole new perspective of where I want to go next, and it's like really lit a fire in me. And then the whole rest of the week I've not been able to stop thinking about that, which I wouldn't have had if I didn't have that first realization. But I think, yeah, for anyone, even if you don't know what direction you want to go, think of the things that do excite you and the things that you do enjoy doing. And also, one thing, this isn't really to do with self-development, but like if you are struggling on knowing what to do, I think one thing is like look at things that you are good at that other people aren't. Like, what are your hobbies, whether that be train spotting, I don't know, any like thing that is different to maybe what you other people don't do, because I think everyone's got something, hopefully, that is different. I mean, we like law of attraction, manifestation, and we've found a lot of inspiration over that, but I think our hobbies and our excitements are there for a reason.
I think when you take inspired action of anything, the universe starts giving you more. If you've not been listening for a long time and you haven't been responding to any of your inspirations and you've been ignoring them, then you stop getting them so much. And then what I found is when you do start getting into what, even if it's just like read a book or go in the hot tub or go for a walk or anything like that, once you start listening to what you want to do, you do get more, don't you find?
Yeah.
So,
well, it was like me, I did get more. When I
did.
did the first thing, I was like, whoa, where's all this come from?
Yeah.
It's like it lifted the lid and I was like, whoa, okay.
So don't worry if you haven't been getting a lot of inspiration right now. Just say, what is it I would like to do? Is there anything that even if you think it's self-indulging and you are being selfish, you need to do something that you're inspired to do. And just do that little step, and what you'll find is something else will come and something else. It'll be like a moss ball rolling down a hill, it'll gather. And I would recommend doing that. So don't feel too anxious now if you haven't got too much inspiration. Just allow it to come, but be willing to listen. And that would be my take home for the week. So we really hope that we've helped you, because that's all we're inspired. That's what our main reason for doing this is. Please let us know any comments. We'd really love to hear from our listeners and viewers.
And if you've got any questions as well, it would be good to do like a Q&A episode if people have questions. And again, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Instagram, follow us on everywhere that you can find. Where else? Oh, as you can see, we're on YouTube, but we've got the audio on Spotify and Apple. We're trying to get everything everywhere so it's accessible for everyone.
Yeah, let us know what we can shed light on from our experience together as mother and daughter, and we would love to help.
Yeah.
See you next
week. Goodbye.
Over and out.